Hello everyone, we are going to do CA2 Revision Set 2, Booklet B. Let's look at question 16. Study this diagram below. So the key here is circle is for females, square is for males. So what they want is for you to state one characteristics that Zach, okay, so Zach is here, had inherited from his parents. Okay, so let's take a look. Let's look at first blue eyes. Did he inherit it from his parents? Now the concept here is that you inherit characteristics from your parents. Okay, so let's look. He has three characteristics: blue eyes, attached earlobes, and curly hair. Okay, so which is the one that he inherited from his parents? So let's look at each individually. Blue eyes, where did he get it from? Yeah, his father, because both have blue eyes. How about attached earlobes? Yeah, he got it from his father as well, attached earlobes. Now, but if you look at curly hair, none of his parents have curly hair, both have straight hair. But where would he get his curly hair from? Yes, his grandmother. Okay, so he did not get curly hair from his parents. So your answer will be either blue eyes or attached earlobes. Now, part B, state a possible reason for Zach to have a characteristics his parents do not have. So definitely it was the curly hair. So what is the possible reason? So the concept tested here is that sometimes the characteristics may skip a generation. Okay, so it is not uncommon for you to have something that your parents don't have, but your grandparents have. Okay, so essentially one possible reason is because Zach inherited the characteristics from his maternal grandmother. Okay, Zach inherited the characteristics from his maternal because it is the mother's side. Alright, so his maternal grandmother. So this part W and Y, how are they related to Zach? So W is here. So basically W is the sister of the mother. Y is the brother of the mother. So it's basically aunt and uncle. So it's either the maternal aunt or maternal uncle, or maternal aunt or mother sister, or maternal uncle or mother's brother. Okay? Let's look at question 17. Classification table shows the reproduction method of two groups of living things. So I have hamster, cheetah, and whale, and I have yeast, amoeba, and bacterium. So you're supposed to state one difference in the reproduction method between Y and X. So definitely for X, you know that they reproduce and through sexual reproduction. Okay, hamster, cheetah, whale, they need to go through sexual intercourse, or they basically need a male and a female. Okay. So, but for yeast, amoeba, and bacterium, you know that they actually don't need. They can reproduce on its own by dividing itself into two. Okay, so basically that's that difference there. Alright, so group X needs a male, an egg, and a sperm cell, while group Y reproduces by dividing itself. So this one needs two things. Here it needs only one. B, organism Z has both male and female. State which group X or Y will organism Z be placed. Now, because it needs both a male and female, it's very obvious that it must be placed in group X. Okay. Now, question 18. ABC shows the heat transfer involved in the change of state of water. Write heat gain, heat loss besides the letter A, B, C, D to show the heat transfer. So let's take a look. Ice to water. It's quite obvious. Ice to water, how does that happen? So ice to water, do I have heat gain or heat loss? Well, definitely it will be heat gain, because I need heat to convert ice to water. Similarly, water to water vapor, heat gain as well. Water vapor back again, so when it comes back, that's where I need to make it lose heat. So condensation, you know, because of the cooler surface, that's why it changes back to water. Then water to ice, we need to put it in a freezer. So a freezer is basically very cold. So heat loss is here as well. Okay, so based on that, this is how my answer will be like. Alright, so this is my answer. Very straightforward question. Question 19, bottle of cold water. Okay, so take note, this is cold water. Taken out of the refrigerator, placed on the table in a room. The temperature of the room was 25 degrees Celsius. So you're supposed to describe what can be observed on the bottle. Okay, observed on the bottle after a few minutes. So essentially, you should know that this cold bottle, the water vapor, because it's warmer, it will start to lose heat and it will condense. So what I will observe is basically water droplets. Water droplets can be found on the surface of the bottle. Okay, so this is what's going to happen. Water droplets can be found on the surface of the bottle. Now you're supposed to explain your answer. So very standard explanation, and I hope that you will remember, and just it's very easy. It's very standard. Each time we talk about condensation, this is the answer that you will put. Okay, so basically there are 4 things you need to take note. First, you must explain that water vapor in the surrounding air. So you must tell me where's the water vapor loses heat. So the water vapor loses heat to whom? To the cooler surface. So the keyword here is cooler, not cool, but cooler surface, and then changes into water droplets. So these are the 4 things that you must have. So repeat after me. Water vapor in the surrounding air loses heat to the cooler surface of the bottle and changes into water droplets. So whenever we ask you about condensation, this is the kind of answer that we are expecting. Question 20. Dish filled with seawater was left in the open for 3 days. After 3 days, there was only salt left. So again, you're supposed to describe what happened to the seawater in the dish. So the concept here is that during evaporation, only water is being evaporated. So that means whatever impurities, in this case will be the salt, will be left behind. And this is one way in which we get fresh water. That's why when it rains, it doesn't rain impurities, it rains fresh water, because the impurities are all left behind. Okay, so this is how you will describe what. So basically the water evaporated, so the keyword here is the water evaporated, leaving the salt in the dish. Now, so then you have this, a group of students given a task to collect drinking water from seawater. So they're supposed to collect drinking water from seawater. Okay, so they're given these items: mirror, Bunsen burner with tripod stand, cup, and this dish filled with seawater. So you're supposed to again describe. Okay, so don't have to give explanation here. You just need to describe how they can collect drinking water from seawater using the items given. Okay, so this is how you would describe. Okay, so step 1, you're supposed to boil the seawater using a Bunsen burner with a tripod stand. Then you're supposed to hold the mirror on top of the dish and place a cup under the mirror and then collect the water that are formed on the mirror. Now I know some of you may not be able to visualize it, so I'm going to try to draw it and show you how it might look like. So first you place your dish. Oops. Okay. Let me erase this off first. Let's try this again. Okay, place your dish with your seawater on top of your Bunsen burner. Okay, so this is your Bunsen burner. Alright. Now, when it boils, it will start to evaporate. Correct? So what you do then is you put your mirror here, like that. So this is my mirror. And then you put your cup somewhere here. Okay, so what will happen is the water droplets will start to form. Correct? And it will slowly roll down and it will drip into the cup. And then it will fill up with, this is the fresh water. So basically this is what you're describing. Okay? So part C, you're supposed to explain. So explanation, remember, scientific, specific. Explain the purpose of the mirror. So what's the purpose of the mirror? So basically the mirror is to cause heat loss, because the mirror is going to be cooler. Alright? So the mirror is to cool the hot water vapor so that it loses heat and condenses into water droplets. Now question 21, Sarah wanted to find out what happens to the boiling point of water when salt is added to it. So she heated 2 beakers of water, added salt to 1 beaker, recorded the finding in the chart below. Okay, so beaker B, from 60 it went up to about 100, remained at 100 and then started dropping again. Beaker A went up to about 120, remained constant and then dropped again. So Sarah realized she forgot which beaker contained water with salt. Silly her. But we know, based on her findings, which beaker is likely to have water with salt, and then you're supposed to explain your answer. So tell me, which one do you think is the one that will have salt? Yeah, definitely beaker A. Why? Because we learned that salt is an impurity, and impurities will affect the boiling point of water. It will either make it higher or lower. So this is how you will explain your answer. So beaker A is your answer, and because water in beaker A boiled at 120 degrees Celsius and not at 100 degrees Celsius, which is the boiling point of pure water. Okay, so based on the graph suggests one reason why both beakers took the same amount of time to reach boiling point. Okay, so if both beakers contain the same amount of water, it will take A a longer time to go up 120 because definitely I need more heat to raise it up to 120. So why is it that both take the same amount of time? So the key here could be because the amount of water in A could be less. Therefore, if I have lesser water, it takes me a shorter time to reach boiling point or reach a higher temperature, because less water means less heat. Okay, so that's how you would phrase your answer. Right, so the amount of water in beaker A could be lesser, taking lesser time to reach a higher temperature. Now part C, Sarah wanted to find out if water with tea leaves would take a longer time to boil compared to pure water. So what is one variable that must be kept the same in order for it to be a fair experiment? So the variable will be with tea leaves. So one will have no tea leaves, one will be pure water, the other one will be with tea leaves. So any other variable must be kept the same. So there are many answers. I'm just going to show you a few. So amount of water, size of beaker, there are many amount of heat provided, material that the beaker is made of. There are just so many variables that you must keep the same. Alright? Right, question 22. Now picture shows a river flowing downstream. There's a factory, a farm, a water treatment plant that's here. Okay. The water treated by the plant is discharged to the point nearest to it. Okay, so basically a water treatment plant takes in the water, treats it, and then it discharges it again. Okay, so Stephen wanted to find out how human activities affect the living things in the water. Collected water from 3 different locations, X, Y, and then Z. Now he put equal amount of water in the above three locations into beaker A, B, and C. Then place 5 similar fish into each beaker. So I mean, essentially I'll just draw out to illustrate for you how it looks like. So I have these 3 beakers. So I have A, B, and C. Now, these are all water taken from 3 different sources. This one is X, this one is Y, and this one is Z. Okay. So then I have small little fishes inside. Okay. So I've got small little fishes inside. I'm going to draw one, but he put 5. Okay. So he put 5 in each. Alright. So then he recorded the number of fish alive in the beaker the next day. So in beaker A, I only have 3 alive. Beaker B, 1 alive, and then beaker C, 5 alive. Alright. Okay, then based on the information given, which location X, Y, and Z is likely to be the source for beaker B? Okay, sorry. I shouldn't have told you now. I am not sure whether this is X, Y, or Z. Okay, so I'm just going to erase this. Oopsie. Okay, I'm not sure. Okay, that's what the question is trying to ask me. Okay, so they didn't tell me which beaker is water from which location. So that's what you're supposed to find out. Okay, so let's look at beaker B. Beaker B, number of fish that was alive is just 1. So which location is likely to be a source for beaker B? Okay, so let's take a look. Now beaker B, 1 left means that most of the fishes died. So at which point in the river will there be the most pollution? Will it be X? Now X, the water just came from downstream. There's nothing to pollute the water at this point here. Y seems most likely because Y, I have the farm. Farm, there may be fertilizer or chemicals going into the water. Factory, they may dump pollutants into the water. So at this point, it may be very highly polluted. Now how about Z? The water will continue flowing. But Z, I have a water treatment plant. So the polluted water may go into the water treatment plant and get treated. And when it dumps out, it may be, at this point here, it's quite clean, the water, free of pollutants. So definitely B will be Y. Okay. Now you need to explain your answer, and your explanation is as such. Alright, so Y, reasons because beaker B has the least number of fish alive. Therefore, it's likely to be taken from the source near the factory where pollutants could be discharged into the water. Now, you're not wrong if you also talk about the farm where pesticides or chemicals are washed into the water. So you can either talk about the factory or the farm. Now, the last question is supposed to suggest one way other than having a water treatment plant. Now, the water treatment plant is basically to reduce water pollution along the river. So what is one other way to do that? Well, very simply, it's responsibility on the side of the farm as well as the factory. So the factory can stop throwing their rubbish or waste into the river, or you can talk about the farm as well, or farms can use less chemical pesticides. Okay?